You say you want peace, but keep going back to chaos. You say you want love, but keep pushing it away. You say you want change, but never take the first step. So what's really happening? Why do you keep sabotaging the life you claim to want? The answer is uncomfortable, because it lives in the parts of you that are hidden, the parts you don't understand, the parts you don't even know are there. Carl Jung believed that self-sabotage is not weakness or laziness. It's not a lack of discipline. It's a message from the unconscious mind, from the shadow, from the self you've been avoiding. In this video, we're going to explore why you keep sabotaging your goals, your healing, and your peace, and how to finally stop. We'll journey through Jung's work on the shadow and repression, Kierkegaard's ideas on despair and avoidance, and Nietzsche's concept of self-overcoming. By the end, you'll see that sabotage isn't a flaw, it's a mirror. And if you're brave enough to look into it, it will show you the truth you've been running from. Let's begin. Self-sabotage is the act of unconsciously working against what you consciously say you want. You want love, but choose people who can't give it. You want growth, but procrastinate every time you get close. You want peace, but recreate familiar conflict again and again. To the outside world, it looks like contradiction, but to your unconscious mind, it's survival. Because there's a part of you, hidden, wounded, repressed, that doesn't believe you deserve what you say you want. That part of you is afraid of rejection, afraid of change, afraid of losing control, afraid that if you actually get the life you dream of, you'll lose your excuse to suffer. And suffering, as strange as it sounds, is familiar. It's known, it's predictable, and for many people, it's home. Carl Jung taught that the parts of ourselves we can't accept, the ones we push down, deny, or repress, don't go away. They become the shadow. And the shadow doesn't disappear just because you pretend it isn't there. It waits, and when the moment is right, when you're close to something meaningful, something beautiful, it sabotages it. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. Because the shadow is made of everything you were told was unacceptable. Your anger, your neediness, your insecurity, your sadness, your ambition, your power. If you were punished for being too emotional, you learned to repress vulnerability. If you were rewarded for being helpful, you learned to neglect yourself. If love was conditional, you learned to perform. And all of that repression creates a fracture, a divide between who you are and who you had to become. So now, every time you move toward your desires, the shadow panics. It whispers, "You're not allowed to have this. You're not ready. You'll ruin it. They'll leave you. You're not enough." And if you don't bring those beliefs into the light, they will control your life. Søren Kierkegaard called this inner conflict despair, the quiet suffering of being disconnected from your true self. He wrote, "The greatest hazard of all, losing one's self, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all." For Kierkegaard, despair isn't just sadness. It's the pain of living a life that is not your own, of wearing a mask so well for so long that you forget who you are underneath. And here's the hard truth. We sabotage the life we want when we're afraid to face the life we've built. We stay in destructive relationships because healing would mean admitting we settled. We stay in cycles of distraction because slowing down would mean feeling. We cling to broken identities because rewriting the story feels harder than living in the lie. Despair grows not from failure, but from self-betrayal. And sabotage is often your soul's way of saying, "This life isn't meant for you, not because you're unworthy, but because it's not real." Let's be honest. Sometimes we stay in pain not because we love it, but because it's familiar. It's what we know. It's what we've survived. It's what was modeled for us. And so peace, actual peace, feels foreign, unreachable, maybe even wrong. You sabotage peace by picking fights, sabotage love by doubting it, sabotage rest by overworking, sabotage success by procrastinating. Because deep down, a part of you still believes, if I let my guard down, I'll be hurt again. If I change, I'll lose everything. If I heal, I won't know who I am anymore. And that fear, that resistance, it becomes the seed of every self-destructive behavior. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, called this phenomenon the return of the repressed. Everything you repress doesn't die. It waits. It waits in the unconscious, and it finds its way back through patterns in your relationships, anxiety you can't explain, self-sabotage you can't stop, dreams that disturb you, desires that confuse you. Freud saw self-sabotage as a symptom, a sign that something inside you is unresolved. And until it's resolved, it will repeat. You'll date the same kind of person, ruin the same kind of opportunity, feel the same kind of fear, no matter how much progress you think you've made. Because the unconscious doesn't care about your vision board. It cares about your wounds. And until you face them, they'll keep guiding your behavior. Friedrich Nietzsche took this even further. He believed that self-sabotage can be a form of cowardice, not in a moral sense, but existentially. Because to change your life requires becoming someone you've never been. It requires self-overcoming, and most people are terrified of what that means. Nietzsche wrote, "You must become who you are." But becoming who you are isn't about discovering something. It's about creating something. And creation is risky. It means giving up the story that you're broken. It means letting go of your excuses. It means accepting full responsibility for your existence. Many people unconsciously sabotage their lives not because they fear failure, but because they fear freedom. Freedom comes with responsibility, with no one left to blame, with no more hiding. And so, we sabotage, we delay, we numb, we distract. Because deep down, we know, becoming whole will cost us our familiar pain. And we're not always ready to let that go. Self-sabotage isn't random. It's targeted, purposeful, strategic. It's your inner child trying to protect you, your nervous system trying to avoid threat, your psyche trying to hold together a fractured self. It's an old, outdated defense mechanism still running the show. Because once, it worked. Once, saying nothing kept you safe. Once, being invisible protected you. Once, overachieving made you feel worthy. Once, detaching helped you survive. But what once protected you is now destroying you. Jung believed that the healing journey begins the moment you stop judging your patterns and start listening to them. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid will happen if I succeed? What would I have to give up to have the life I want? What parts of me are not aligned with the life I'm trying to create? When you get honest about these answers, the sabotage will start to unravel. So how do you stop sabotaging yourself? Not by forcing discipline, not by shaming your bad habits, not by pretending everything is fine. You stop by integrating, by bringing the shadow into the light, by acknowledging the fears behind the resistance, by sitting with the discomfort of your truth without running. Here's the real work. When you want to procrastinate, pause. Ask, what am I afraid of? When you push love away, pause. Ask, what part of me doesn't believe I deserve it? When you start chaos in moments of peace, pause. Ask, who taught me that peace isn't safe? Integration means becoming aware of the patterns, without becoming them. It means holding your fear in one hand and your vision in the other, and walking forward anyway. This is what Jung called individuation, becoming whole, Not perfect, not fixed, but complete. And it begins when you stop running from yourself. You say you want peace. You say you want love. You say you want change. But are you willing to let go of the identity built on struggle? Are you willing to stop playing the role of the broken one, the busy one, the strong one, the selfless one? Are you willing to become someone who no longer needs to be saved? Because here's the truth. You're not afraid of healing. You're afraid of who you'll have to become once you're healed. But that version of you, the one who's free, whole, grounded, at peace, already exists. Not out there, in here, under the fear, under the shame, under the pattern, waiting. So the question is no longer, why do I sabotage? The question is, am I ready to stop? If something in this video stirred something in you, if a quiet part of you whispered yes, then leave a comment. Tell us, what part of your life are you ready to stop sabotaging? And what truth are you finally willing to face? And if you're on this path of self-awareness, subscribe, because the next video will take you even deeper. The journey only begins when you stop running. Until next time, keep shining, not to be seen, but to see.